deal of the week is all things Norwegian. Having gotten off the Norwegian Encore, brand new baby, absolutely wonderful ship sailing out of Miami until April of 2020. I must say, she's a beauty, and Norwegian continues to deliver. I'm talking about the joy, the bliss in Alaska and the Caribbean, the breakaway, the getaway, the escape, the epic. Oh my goodness, Norwegian is the ship, is the cruise line of choice going into 2020 and 2021, all the way through all our continents, Africa, Asia, North America. We've got it for you. $50 deposit is our deal on all cabin categories, insides, all the way to mini suites for this period. And so you can't find a better deal than Norwegian Cruise Lines. Give us a call. Share Fantastic Travels and Resorts Limited, 347-757-6728. You'll be glad you did. Just want to give credit as well to Arnie Wiesman, Editor-in-Chief, Travel Weekly, for a stellar interview of Mr. Stuart. And of course, for graciously being there to amplifying the trade in the minds of those who operate daily in the trade, the happenings along the lines of what's going on in the cruise world. So, Mr. Wiesman, I really do appreciate the fact that here at the Sweet Life Travel Podcast, this content could be available to share with our listeners.
So you've used the word taking a break. What are the odds we're going to see you back in the industry?
The honest answer to that is I don't know. It may be my wife throws me out after 6 months and I have to go private. That's definitely one possibility because she's never spent this much time with me. It could be that, she loves spending time with me and if it goes longer than 6 months that I don't have to get out of the house. So I'm honestly taking it a day at a time. I'm definitely taking a break and enjoying just some downtime and some travel. And then we'll see. We'll see. I don't know.
Well, you've worked with the incoming CEO, Harry Summer, for some time now. He was president of the international side of the business for all the brands, right? I think a lot of the people who haven't met Harry. Would you tell us a little about him?
Yeah, I'd love to. So I've known Harry for 20 years. We worked together at Norwegian almost 20 years ago now. He ran direct marketing and then he ran revenue management for us. And then he actually started a travel agency. So he ran a very successful travel agency for 6 or 7 years. And then he, as the recession, as the 2007-2008 recession hit, he decided being an entrepreneur was going to be very challenging during that period. So at that point, he connected back with Frank Del Rio, who he had worked with earlier in his career. So he's known and worked with Frank for many years. And he joined the Oceania region team and was actually in charge of the integration when Oceania acquired region. And since then, he's really done it all. He ran the transition team, he's run marketing, he's run IT, he's run accounting, and as I say in the old days, direct marketing, revenue management. He's one of the most rounded executives you'll meet. Super bright. I mean, really one of the brightest guys you'll meet. The capacity to do more in a day than any human being I've maybe ever met. So I'm super excited. He's going to do a fantastic job. And he's passionate about the brand. He's passionate about the industry. He's extremely bright, and I will enjoy from the new seat that I have on the outside looking in and watching some of the great things the brand is going to do. I mean, you just met Katina. She's a rock star. I see her running the company one day. She's really someone who I'm very impressed by. Harry is extremely impressive. We have a wonderful team. So I'm very excited for the future, and I really will enjoy watching the company go from strength to strength.
So looking back a little bit at Norwegian Cruise Lines, the product, what were the developments that you were most proud of, that you were involved in?
Yeah, I don't like talking about these things, but I've been part of the team, and there's always just a lot of people involved in these things. I think that the period of time where we introduced freestyle cruising was a really interesting time for the company. It was a really interesting time for the industry, and I'm not claiming this, but that this was me. I was part of a team that I think was a big catalyst for change across the whole industry, and it was pretty exciting at the time. It was really hard because I underestimated badly what a great job the industry had done in delivering and marketing this two-seating dining concept. I joined the industry and I didn't understand it. I went on my first cruise in 1988, and I was on my own actually, and I got there and someone said to me, well, you're dining at 6:30 and you'll be on table 35. And so I wasn't at all hungry, but I went to the restaurant. And I sat with this family of 7 people. And I sort of felt like a bit of an idiot. I'm like, what am I doing at this table? They were a lovely family, but they didn't know why I was there, and I really didn't know why I was there. So that was sort of my first experience cruising. I just didn't understand it. And so for me, from that day forward, it was always obvious that there was something else. And as I say, there were people much smarter than me and more senior than me that were driving the engine at that time. But I was very much part of the team that was like, oh yes, absolutely, we should do this. And we launched on the Norwegian Sky in 2000, and I wrote the letter to the guests saying, fantastic news, this week on your cruise you can dine when you want, where you want, with whom you want. First and second dining seating have gone. And there was a riot. There were 2,000 people lined up at the reception desk saying, that's what we bought. I want to dine at 6:30, I want to dine at 8:30, I want to meet new people at my table. And I'm like, oh God. So I started writing the next letter, which was, great news, this week you're booked on the early seating. If you meet someone new at the bar, or on a shore excursion, or maybe you're not hungry at 6:30 and you want to eat at 7:30 or 8 o'clock, just feel free to adjust as the week goes on. And there were only 500 people lined up at the desk. And so it took time, and I underestimated the high-touch service of this waiter that knows you. By day 2, they know you like 2 desserts, or you want that extra lobster tail, or they're doing the little tricks for the kids, and so I really underestimated it. It took us a while to overcome that. Once we got to all the restaurant choices and all the entertainment choices, it became much easier, but it was very difficult at the beginning. But I think that was sort of a catalyst for a lot of change in the industry that makes the industry as exciting and innovative and varied as it is today. Otherwise, if we were all doing the same thing, it's all about price. And I think Katina did a good job of saying why it's not about price at Norwegian today, and in the industry, why we're able to keep moving price and have healthy commissions and healthy businesses, because we're differentiated. We do different stuff, and it's exciting and it's innovative, and every new ship that comes out, you sort of goggle-eyed because there's something new on it that's amazing, and we'll continue to bring new people in. So that was definitely one moment in the industry that I think was a moment for the industry that accelerated change.
Right, and I mean, to one extent differentiated, but on the other extent, how long was it before other lines started doing similar?
Yeah, it didn't take very long. I think people watch. I mean, like with any innovation, and we're not the only line that's innovated. When you see another line innovate, you're like, is that a good idea or a bad idea? And you sort of watch it for a little bit, and then you see it go, it's great, it's not, it's go great, you figure out how maybe there's an aspect of it that might
the
be.
bar gets raised for every, then you have to innovate from there.
Exactly, and you either innovate, by imitation, which we don't like to do, or you innovate by saying, well, that was a good idea, maybe there's a different approach, there's something different you can do. And lines did that. Many lines still offer first and second dining seat for people that love it, but offer a lot more choices on the side. So we were all in. We sort of, I joked about it, and this was a joke. I joked that, having having both freestyle and first and second dining seating was like having a coloured television that still showed black and white. Pointless. But I was wrong, because I really underestimated how valuable to some guests that more structured approach was. So I think it's been great for the industry.
Well, also on dining, one innovation that NCL did under your watch that I thought was very innovative, and when it happened, it was one of these things that you think, it's so obvious, why didn't anybody do it beforehand? What was holding people back from having an outside dining area? That, that this was, once it happened, it seemed like such a natural thing. Others have done it since. Why was it that so many people were afraid to try that?
I think it's a good question. I think there was a period of time where there was so much focus on all the bells and whistles inside the ship that we forgot about the romance of the sea. And there were a couple of ships that were built that were a little inward facing. And it was incredible, inside was incredible. But we forgot part of the magic was the ocean and the sea breeze and the views. And what's the first thing you do when you go to a town on the water? You find a restaurant where you sit on the water and look at the ocean. And I think the industry, and no one in particular, I think quite a number of lines actually became, for a short period of time, became a little inward facing. We were so focused on everything that was inside the ship. It was very cool. And then we had this idea to open the ships out and really focus on looking out and dining on the water, and I think that's been a very, very successful innovation, and good for the industry as a whole, and you're seeing more of that across the whole industry, which I think is a good thing.
Right. So I think one question on the minds maybe of a lot of people in the audience is, what is the future of Partners First without Andy Stuart?
It's so ingrained that I think it has a very bright future. I mean, you saw Katina tell the story in the presentation, and the view of the whole management team is that this is a demand business, right? There is no limit to how high you can take price. There is only so much cost you can take out, and our focus is on driving demand, more demand, and the way to do that is to have everyone in this room driving demand, excited to sell the product. And I think when you look at the story that Katina told, higher commissions, more inclusive product, exciting new ships, huge investments in the mid-sized ships, it's a huge opportunity, and there's no one in our company, at any of the three brands, quite honestly, that believes anything other than open the faucet to the max. You need the most demand you can get, and we cannot reach the people you can reach. And I believe that from my heart. I remember when I moved to the US in 1997, one of the first things somebody said to me was, "Oh, travel agents do no way this travel agent's going to survive." Look at this room. Look at what's happened. I didn't believe it then. I don't believe it now. We need to reach as many people as you can help us reach, and we just can't do it. If we tried to do it without you, we would spend 10, 15, 20 times more to do that on our own, and we still wouldn't reach as many people as you reach. So I don't have any concern at all about that. Partners First is here to stay. It's a powerful, powerful lens through which we put everything.
So, going back to innovation for a second, Princess now has the Ocean Medallion, Royal has the Excalibur. Where do NCL's efforts stand in developing onboard personalization technology?
I think it's an exciting opportunity. I think we have to be really careful how we implement it and execute it. So if we're going to do it, we really are going to execute it flawlessly, and it's going to deliver meaningful change to the guest experience. I think that it's really important. We don't push someone through a funnel of new technology and not change their experience that much, but maybe complicate it a little bit. And so I think there are many exciting opportunities, and I'm quite sure you will see exciting technology from Norwegian, but it's also quite complicated, and So I think the right thing for our brand has been, let's just make sure we do this right, and it really brings, really does change the guest experience for the better.